How is it that you know how we are as a people? I don't believe that 10% of your viewers that's watching this don't keep their phone when they go to sleep in arm reach. How is it that there was no electronic products or gadgets around Kim's bed? Her laptop missing, her cell phone's missing. Everything is missing that she could get in touch with her little girls if they not at home or some friends or family. All that's missing. How is it that, and this is her say, that the detectives did not even view the body in the bed where she died at? That the coroner had already removed her, pronounced her dead, and told the detectives that it was no foul play. And if that is true, as I've heard it, and we've read certain things on the internet about it, that case need to be reopened. We know that Kim, and it's in the this is in the documentation. Shout out to paperwork, at the paperwork part. I gotta shout him out, man, because he looked in the paperwork and it said Kim received a massage for about an hour when she's supposed to have full-blown pneumonia. Who gives somebody a massage when they got pneumonia?
Hollywood is being rocked by one of the most controversial lawsuits in the entertainment world today. Sean "Diddy" Combs, one of the most powerful figures in the music industry, is officially facing trial over serious allegations involving sex, abuse, and dark power. But the story goes far beyond the headlines. In a shocking twist, singer Al-B, Sure, a former star of the 1980s New Jack Swing movement, has broken his silence with explosive claims aimed directly at Diddy. He revealed that he nearly lost his life for knowing too much and hinted that the death of Kim Porter, a model and the mother of his son, might not be as simple as the coroner's report suggests. If you enjoy stories like this, don't forget to subscribe for more.
But this is about Diddy, so let's be clear for everybody that doesn't know.
Diddy, who's about to, his trial's about to start. Yeah, yes. They're selecting a jury.
But you were on this train years ago.
Yes, many, many years ago. I posted some information that was, basically trying to save my life. And thank goodness to my ex, the wonderful Kim Porter, the late Kim Porter, who, kind of warned me all along the way to, just kind of watch your back, so on and so forth. And I didn't understand why.
Because of Diddy?
Basically.
Do you believe that she died of pneumonia?
Absolutely not.
Why? What evidence do you have?
She was in the best of health. We just saw each other prior to her passing. We were actually celebrating our son's new Netflix Christmas special, and she was doing just fine. In fact, we were all at the event together at Netflix in the lobby. Sean, myself, the children, all having a great time, and I'm, grabbing Sean like, what? And she's in the back going, stop, So it was a really festive opportunity just for all of us to be together, because it's nothing like the circus that's out here. So it was a lot of the stuff, came to surprise, but a lot of the stuff will be revealed because, and that's why I thought it would be a good idea to finally tell my story. Every network came to me, participate and so on and so, but I said, listen, I have no interest in speaking about another man.
But you are in the book.
Yeah, right. But this, I will speak about where our paths cross and what's most relevant. It's something I've been trying to say for many, many years. And unfortunately, Roseanne, even with Sean being incarcerated, that's not a celebration. There's no celebration in it. First and foremost, there's way too much collateral damage, and in many, many ways. Many people's lives are affected, and in fact, a genre of music that I grew up in is ruined right now.
To truly grasp why this trial has shaken public opinion so profoundly, we need to look back at the career and influence of Sean "Diddy" Combs. Starting out as a talented music producer, Diddy quickly rose to become one of the most powerful moguls in the American entertainment industry. He was the mastermind behind the success of Bad Boy Records, the label that discovered and launched the careers of iconic names like the Notorious B.I.G., Faith Evans, Maze, and 112. From producing hits to stepping into the spotlight himself with songs like I'll Be Missing You, Diddy expanded into fashion with his Sean John brand and invested in Ciroc vodka, transforming his name into a sprawling business empire. At one point, Forbes estimated his net worth to be nearly $1 billion, solidifying his status as a symbol of wealth, success, and cultural influence within the Black community. But behind all that glitz was a long trail of never-ending controversy. Diddy was once arrested after a nightclub shooting in New York in 1999, an incident that sent shockwaves through the hip-hop world. Though he was acquitted, the label of underworld boss started sticking to his name. Allegations have followed him for years, ranging from assault and exploitation of artists to claims of manipulating contracts and taking advantage of young talent. One of the most explosive scandals in recent years came from his ex-girlfriend, Cassie, who accused Diddy of sexual abuse and psychological control spanning over a decade. That lawsuit was settled privately in under 24 hours, fueling even more suspicion about the extent of Diddy's power and influence over the legal system. There's a reason people call Diddy the untouchable king of the American music scene. For over 2 decades, he seemed immune to scandal, untouchable by every accusation thrown his way. But this trial is different. A surprise witness has come forward, someone closely connected to Diddy both personally and professionally, and that delicate balance of power may finally be tipping. Al B sure is no stranger to the music industry. Back in the late 80s and early 90s, he was one of the leading voices of the new jack swing era, a genre blending R&B with hip-hop that once dominated the Billboard charts. With his heartthrob looks and smooth vocals, Al captivated audiences with hits like Night and Day and Off on Your Own, Girl. But behind the stage lights, his personal life was far from perfect. After reaching his peak, his career started to decline, and Al gradually faded from the spotlight. In recent years, he had practically disappeared from the media radar until he resurfaced with a revelation no one saw coming. His comeback wasn't marked by a new single or a stage performance. It came through a bombshell confession. Al revealed that he had fallen into a coma, required a liver transplant to survive, and, more importantly, he believed his condition wasn't purely natural. In a recent interview, Al shared that he had once been warned by his ex-girlfriend, model Kim Porter, to watch his back and always look over his shoulder. That warning later haunted him when Kim, mother of his son, died suddenly from pneumonia, according to the official report. But Al doesn't buy it. He insists Kim was in perfect health and had just attended a celebratory family event before her death. And it didn't stop there. Al claimed he was threatened and that both law enforcement and others questioned his mental health after he posted cryptic messages on social media. At times, he was advised to go see a doctor. Other times, he was told to take the post down or face trouble. Strangely enough, according to Al, those posts weren't delusions, they were survival warnings. He kept all of this to himself for over a decade, but now, with Diddy's trial underway, Al has decided to testify and tell his story fully in an upcoming memoir. What makes AL's testimony even more striking is that, during the interview, he made it clear he had no desire to speak out about another man. But this time, he said, it was about his life, his dignity, and a truth that had been buried for too long.
Diddy for that?
I'm blaming this entire industry and the way it's gone. And, there's no one person that's in charge, but this level and this magnitude of a story, of detriment, of diabolical, just heinous, whatever's really going on, it's unfortunate.
Is Diddy suing you or threatening to sue you?
No.
No?
I have the truth.
But one thing is, you have volunteered to testify at the trial, correct?
Not as of yet. Actually, I was subpoenaed.
Okay.
So my attorneys worked something out. So I believe when the time is right, I'm going to discuss it with my attorneys.
But you're willing to?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, I am. And again, this is there's no, like I said, this is not marketing for me. I'm living this life. And
So
the
let me
only
ask-
reason I wanted to tell the story, Kurt, was very specifically because I was ignored. There was the most expensive PR campaign against me to shut me down. If you actually knew what they did to me, there was a bounty on my head. There was a bunch of stuff.
So do you think specifically then that Sean Diddy Combs or people affiliated with him did something to you that caused you to have multi-organ failure?
I believe this to be the case, yes. Absolutely.
Wow.
My first time saying it.
Are you concerned that he still has power outside of incarceration?
Remember, I'm the only one who spoke up, and I'm the only one left alive. So this is not about a scared thing, you know. It's just time to reveal the truth. I mean, it is what it is.
In American entertainment culture, it's rare to see an artist step up and challenge a figure as untouchable as Diddy. Yet Al, driven by personal experience and a desire to protect his son, has chosen to do exactly that. And that's precisely what makes his words so dangerous to the defense. To understand why Al B. Sure's testimony carries such weight, you have to look deeper into the tangled history between him and Diddy, a relationship full of emotional complexity, power struggles, and wounded pride. What many people don't know is that Kim Porter, the woman at the heart of this entire story, was once AL's longtime partner. Together, they had a son, Quincy, whom Al raised and remained close to over the years. But after their breakup, Kim began dating Diddy in the mid-90s. From that point on, the friendship between the two men turned cold, maybe even hostile. One of the things that upset Al the most was how Diddy publicly adopted Quincy as if he were his own biological son. In the media, Diddy frequently referred to Quincy as his son, proudly attending major events with him by his side. The public applauded it, many even praised Diddy as a model father. But behind the scenes, Al never stopped being present in Quincy's life. And according to people close to the situation, Al felt like Diddy had stolen not just his identity as a father, but his personal history too. That lingering tension was confirmed by Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, who had spent years observing both men up close. In an interview, Gene was blunt. Diddy stole Kim from Al, and the two of them used to be friends.
You know, him and Al never been the best of friends. He had motherfuckers think that he had adopted Quincy, and he never did. Al was never out of his son's life. I knew Al way back in Mount Vernon. He used to wear leather pants in 100 degrees. I was fucking with Al. I knew it way back then, though, man. Al a good dude. A good dude. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So if Al got something to say about that's happening to him and Puff has something to do with it, trust and believe he gonna have evidence to substantiate that Puff did that shit. Either he gave him something or sent something his way.
But what was the beef between Albert Shore and Diddy? Like, why wasn't they on good terms?
The nigga was dating Kim. You understand? That's his kid's mother. And they was cool, they was friends. Misa and Kim was cool. They was all in that Uptown family, Uptown Records family. How you gonna date the mother of you my man, you cool, we all be around each other, and you dating the mother of my son? Alan never go try to date Misa. You know what I mean?
Gene also revealed that the conflict wasn't just romantic, it was about unspoken rivalry in the industry. Al had once been the star of a previous generation, while Diddy, younger and more ambitious, had a knack for manipulating the entertainment game. Their old guard versus new blood dynamic was never peacefully resolved. Behind the scenes, there were also countless stories pointing to Diddy's need for control, both professionally and personally. Many who worked with him say he was notoriously hard to please, snapping at people for even the smallest missteps, from a stylist picking the wrong shirt color to a chef forgetting apple slices in his favorite salad. Jay-Z once joked that having lunch with Diddy could cost you a contract if you sat in the wrong seat. In an industry where massive egos were the norm, Diddy claiming AL's spotlight might not have just been about romance. It might have been a power move, a silent statement about who really ran the music game. That's why, if anyone has the motivation and insight to testify against Diddy, it's Al B. Sure. He's a former friend, an ex of Kim Porter, someone who saw the inner workings of this powerful entertainment empire, and now he's stepping forward as a father, a survivor, and a keeper of secrets. The trial of Sean Diddy Combs isn't just a personal civil or criminal case. It's shaping up to be the opening act in a potential domino effect that could shake the entire American music industry. As of now, the jury has been selected, and both legal teams are beginning to present their first pieces of evidence. According to inside sources, prosecutors plan to paint a picture of Diddy as a man who used fame, wealth, and power to build a sophisticated network of control and sexual exploitation that spanned decades. And the accusations aren't just coming from women. There are men speaking out too, forcing the public to reevaluate the dark side of an industry they once idolized. Meanwhile, Diddy's team denies everything. They claim this is nothing more than a modern-day witch hunt, driven by envy and an orchestrated effort to destroy his image. But what makes this trial different, and far more dangerous for Diddy, is that it's not being handled quietly behind closed doors like others in the past. Public interest is at an all-time high. The press, human rights lawyers, and advocacy groups are all watching closely, creating unprecedented pressure on a justice system that has often bent under the weight of celebrity and cash. On top of that, the U.S. Department of Justice is reportedly widening the scope of its investigation to include possible charges related to human trafficking and sexual coercion, far beyond the scope of the original case.
You see how Albie Shore, he came out saying that Kim Porter death needs to be looked into?
I think that Al being his ex-wife, he have every right, knowing about the stuff that came out about Diddy and what he was doing. You understand what he has done in the past, and people have overlooked it. By him coming out and saying that he hoped that he could get her case reopened. There was a guy called John Paperwork, the Paperwork Party. They would put in an open petition to get Kim's case reopened. You understand what I'm saying? So I'll be sure doing this is showing that, you know, he still got love for Quincy's mother. He still want to find out the truth, because allegedly Kim was fine the day before and the day of her death. And then now she found in the bed dead from pneumonia. That just don't sound right, bro. That don't sound right at all.
So you feel the same way about her death being suspect?
I don't think nobody in America thinks nothing suspicious about Kim's death, bro. If you are rich like that, you could, you know, Kim had, I think a net worth of like, what, 12 million a year or something like that? Kim could have called any doctor to come over and look at her. If she was that bad, you know, she could have called an ambulance or something like that. Everything is suspicious about her death, bruh.
This is precisely why Al B. Shure's testimony matters so much. If what he says is true, if he was threatened, targeted after speaking up, and if there's real reason to question the circumstances around Kim Porter's death, then this case could ignite a whole new wave of revelations. Much like the #MeToo movement that once swept through Hollywood. That movement famously brought down Harvey Weinstein, a producer once considered untouchable, after years of operating under the shield of fame and powerful legal teams. Observers now believe that if Diddy falls, many others could fall with him. people who collaborated with him, enabled him, or simply looked the other way. And perhaps most notably, this wave of accusations is no longer confined to music or Hollywood. Human rights organizations, investigative journalists, and independent legal groups are now opening files on abuse not just in entertainment, but in sports, fashion, and even politics. Industries where silence was once the strongest form of protection. Diddy is no longer just the center of a scandal. He's standing at the eye of a storm, where every move is being watched and every hidden truth risks being exposed. The real question now is, does power still have the ability to cover up the truth? As the spotlight of the courtroom focuses in on Sean Diddy Combs, it's not just him facing judgment from the public and the law. It's the entire system that once nurtured fame, silence, and unchecked influence coming under scrutiny. This trial could be a turning point not only for Diddy's career, but for how Hollywood and the music industry confront their own dark corners. If Al B. Sure delivers credible evidence, especially concerning Kim Porter's death, then this won't just be a story of old grudges or broken love. It'll be a serious warning about safety, ethics, and accountability in the entertainment world. What makes this even more powerful is that Al isn't just another witness. He's a father, a former partner of Kim, and a man who believes he nearly died for choosing to speak the truth. His courage, though late, could inspire others who've been abused or threatened into silence to finally come forward. And in an era where social media, leaked footage, and digital records can spread worldwide in seconds, no one holds absolute control anymore. Justice, though often delayed, is knocking. The only question left is who's ready to face it. And you, watching this video, what do you make of everything that's unfolding? Is Diddy hiding a terrifying truth, or is this a targeted smear campaign? Did Kim Porter really die from pneumonia, or is there something more that's been buried? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because it's conversations like these that bring the truth to light. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any updates on what could be the biggest music industry trial of our time. And if you found this video valuable, share it with others, because the more people who know, the harder it is for the truth to stay buried. We'll see you in the next episode, where we'll dive deeper into Al B. Sure's memoir and the revelations that could change the history of American entertainment.